no secret, Pastor Mike Todd from Transformation Church has been known to cause a lot of controversy. And in the last few weeks, he's been going viral again. He poured syrup on the Bible. He made air quotes when talking about people leaving his church. And the Christian community is going crazy wild over this. And I've taken the time to listen to the whole sermon, and I'm gonna let you know whether or not this is actually a legit thing to be concerned about. If I've learned anything from the mainstream media, is they can take a small clip of a video and put a narrative around it and decide whatever it is that they want it to mean. So if you want to talk about what actually happened with the air quotes, how that conversation even came about in his whole sermon, I took the time to sit here for about an hour and listen until it got to that part. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Jose, and today guys I'm excited because I spent quite a bit of time here looking at this. I was gonna sit here like all the other people that are posting about this and give a little reaction about it, but I figured, you know what, I want to take the time to actually listen to the sermon. I'm here, sitting here, you guys can even see. We're 50 minutes into this thing, and man, it's actually, I'm not gonna lie, dude, I can see why this dude has 2 million followers. I mean, very good speaker. He's really good at talking. He's very charismatic. He knows how to talk. He's very good at preaching, but he always finds a way to get himself into controversy, into the media outlets, into Christian YouTube comment section, post reactions. And you know what? I think it's pretty interesting that I don't know if it's on purpose, but he happens to be really controversial. So I'm gonna start a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys the clip that everyone's talking about, and then we're gonna retract a little bit to see how he got to talk about this specific thing.
This was my place of faith. I would come in here so many days and not have any energy to do anything. Another staff member just left, and all they said was it's because God called them somewhere else. After 6 years, you can't even tell me the real reason, but you do subliminal Instagram posts? I'm being too real up here.
So that's the big part, right? He throws the air quotes up. God told them to leave. Essentially what he's trying to say with the air quotes is like, that's what they said, that's lying though, because it's not necessarily true that's why they left. They're just saying, God told me so, and they're actually leaving because of a different reason. On one part of it, I agree, like, just because you're, 2 million subs on YouTube, you have a huge following, you're very good at preaching, you have a lot of people that you have come to know Jesus through you, doesn't mean that you're not doesn't mean that God wouldn't call somebody to go somewhere else. Like they'd be like, oh, God has called me to go to this other church. You don't know whether or not this person has actually gone and prayed, and God's shown them, you know what, I don't want you to go here anymore. This isn't the place I want you to be at. I want you to go to this church or whatever. And that can be really genuine. Now, maybe they just didn't feel comfortable telling him why that was. Maybe they just didn't feel like they want to explain it to him, which I think in his defense, it is probably owed, because if somebody's been working for you and you have, let's just say, like a close relationship with them, and they end up and you feel like they're family or a really good friend. I mean, those types of relationships happen all the time in just like the secular world, business. So I'm sure if you work in a church, it's probably even more because you're connected through Christ. So I would think that there would be some sort of like real explanation, if say it was like the pastor and there was something that they did that you didn't like. I feel like you might even owe it to them to tell them if you care for them to change. If you're like, I want, this is something that you do, I don't think it's right, here's the reasons why, here's the Bible, here's, what I think or whatever. And if the pastor or the person really respects and cares for your word, they should consider it really. So I think he kind of was owed that. They're posting things on Instagram or Facebook and they know he sees it, and they're maybe saying like the real reason why they left. It's like, I don't like this. But then they're saying, oh, God told me, when they're not saying that publicly. So it's almost feel like they lied to him. I think that's where he's coming from. Trust me, guys, I'm no like Mike Todd apologist or anything like that. I know he's done some pretty weird, controversial, probably not good stuff. And so I'm not like sitting here trying to defend him, but at the end of the day, I think we gotta I think a lot of times we get into our emotions. We have these like preconceived notions. We don't have grace for people. We're just going to automatically, anything they say because of something that we disagree with, something we don't like, maybe we don't like the way it's presented or the way they speak or whatever. We come at it from that lens and we're not actually giving them a legit chance. I know it happens a lot. Like that's why we need to go to God, give us that sight to be able to have grace for people, and try to really see if, I don't know, but okay. Now we're gonna rewind it and see how he got up to this point. I'm just gonna rewind it like 2 minutes. We're gonna listen to that, which I thought was actually pretty good. So, I mean, it spoke to me because, we got vision now. Okay, let's see here. Sorry.
I don't care if you got more money. Is there more fruit in your life? Are you more generous? Do you walk in more love? Do you have more peace? Because all of those things without the fruit means nothing. So for everybody in here who has a vision, I just want to give you a vision for fresh fruit in your life. And I'm just going to give you 3 things I learned in the last 2 years so that you can apply them to your life, okay? Real quickly. The first thing you need to know is if you're going to get fresh fruit, your faith is going to be tested. I know I'm a Christian now. Y'all church people made me go back and renew my Christian card. No, I know I actually believe in God now. I know I can turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
I gave people severance pay who I knew was talking about me.
Okay, on that part, I'm like, you kind of need to anyway. Like, doesn't matter if you're talking about, you should just give them severance if you let them go.
I know that I can love my enemy now. But if you think your faith being tested is a punishment, you don't understand the God that we serve.
I think one thing that he talks about, or he just said, right, is he knows he can turn the other cheek now. And I think that's pretty key, because I think a lot of times, like, I'll be like, yeah, like I'll turn the other cheek, and it's not until, I think he's about to get into it, it's until the faith is tested, until you go through something, until somebody talks about you, says something to you that you don't like, and then you actually have to do it, then you actually have to turn your cheek. And that's when you can actually be like, you know what, yeah, I have that, this Holy Spirit has guided me to turn the other cheek. Because it's really hard to do. We could all say it. A lot of times we talk the talk, don't walk the walk. But it's actually kind of funny, because I think he kind of ends up trying to get back at people.
Actually, watch this. Your faith being tested is not a punishment, it's a privilege. Ask Job. Have you considered? Y'all not ready for this word, because I'm not screaming. You don't understand. God chose Job to go through all those trials. And the reason some of y'all like, but not me. He'd never choose you, because you would leave him the moment he took your apartment away. He would never, you too weak in your faith. He'd never choose you because one person be offended. But your faith being tested is a privilege. And I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now, and I'm coming to tell you, because God's gonna give you a vision and your faith is gonna be tested. You're gonna be sitting there like, God, was this you? What the heck? All the people I thought was gonna be here with me, and this is gone. Where the money at? My husband's doubting me. My wife is doubting me. My parents can't see why God, at least, okay, you gave me the vision, tell somebody else. So I'm not out here alone. He said, I gave it to you. I don't give vision to a committee. I give vision to a man or a woman. And it is their responsibility to write it down. It is their responsibility to keep it fresh. It is their responsibility to share that vision. In Transformation Church, I just thank you for being a place that I could come to every Sunday. And even though I was the pastor, but this is real, but I would come in here and I would see the people who stayed. But it ain't even real until it's been tested. Oh God. How do you know gold is real? It's been tested in fire. James chapter 1 verse 2. It says, dear brothers and sisters, when trouble of any kind come your way, any kind, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. Promise you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. What if you don't need more money to feel complete? What if you just need your faith to be tested to the point where you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing? That means everything God does is a cherry on top. It ain't even the cake, it ain't even the meal. This is just extra.
Okay, here's my thing. Like, even after he gets past that part, I think it's decent. It's not, I mean, he's encouraging his congregation. He is teaching from the word. He's giving them, he's encouraging them to just be okay with what they have, and just and being okay with their faith being tested, and almost looking forward to it. So I think that's all good stuff. Good word for people. I think it spoke to me a little bit, so I was kind of like, yeah, because I was ready to come in with heat. But honestly, guys, as followers, we tend to make a mistake of extending grace to the people we like and passing judgment on somebody that we don't see eye to eye on, that we don't really like. I think we got to do better. We got to extend grace to people. If they're in sin, if there's a pastor that's living in sin, it's known, then yes, I think we definitely need to call it out, and that's not okay. But at the end of the day, if everyone's life, if every word that you said, every word that you spoke to your friends, whatever, was under a microscope, how would that look if you held yourself to the same standard that you're holding other people? I know, like this guy is a pastor. I'm not even talking about him anymore. Just any other pastor that you're like, I don't really like how they speak. I don't really like how that YouTuber talks, whatever. Have the same grace that you extend for yourself to other people, and see how it changes the way you view them. Because if you don't, God's going to measure you by that same judgment you have for other people. And that's scary to think about, man. And I think it's good to do. I think it's good to look at something and to have discernment, whether or not it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, whether or not it's bad preaching, if it's not accurately spoken. But if they're somebody who is humble and they're willing to change, and maybe they got it wrong, but it's maybe like a secondary issue, and you can like try to talk to them or look past it, or just kind of chew the meat, spit out the bones, and have grace for them and pray for that person. That's what our heart needs to be. Just get plugged in and really be in their word. That's all you got to do, is spend time with God, and God will show you. You really got it. That's all you got to do. You got to spend time with God in prayer and reading his word, and he'll show you if you should be there. He'll show you if it's the right thing. That's all that's going to happen. That's like the best thing. That's the easiest thing to do. That's the easiest way to go about it. It's sort of like asking and YouTubing and looking it up. Spend time with God as much as you spend time looking up videos of Mike Todd. Spend time with God as much as you spend up looking videos of false teachers. Spend time with the Lord, and he will give you the discernment to know whether or not you should be listening to that, whether or not that was legit. Look up to Christ and not down on your phone for what you're seeking. All right, I'm done ranting. I've been on here for a minute, but all right, guys. Peace.